Hi, welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club. I am Anna Pan, the Cozy Author of the Month for September, and I am interviewing Traci Andrighetti, which rhymes with spaghetti, for the Cozy Author of the Month for October. Welcome, Tracy.
Thanks for having me. Oh my God, my eyes look like they're closed because I'm looking down. So everybody, I promise you, my eyes are open. I just looked at myself for the first time and I was like, why are your eyes closed? But they're open. See?
I got to give her some shocking news. Maybe that'll pop them
Yeah.
open.
I need to elevate my computer. This is crazy. So yeah,
Uh,
so that's how this interview is going to go, everybody. So if you're wondering, just apologies ahead of time.
exactly.
My
All right,
fault.
let me get serious though. I got to read your author bio. Tracy is a USA Today best-selling author of the Frankie Amat oh, goodness. I pronounced it
Amato.
right when I was practicing, and now I can't. Frankie Amato Mysteries and the Danger Cove Hair Salon Mysteries, and she is the co-author of the Killer Foursome Mysteries. In her previous life, she was an award-winning literary translator and a lecturer of Italian at the University of Texas at Austin.
Hook 'em horns, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, look. We have a big game tomorrow. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh. So, where was I? Okay, she has a PhD on linguistics. No, I'm very impressed. Um, and but then she got wise and ditched that for a lot.
A
I'm
life
sorry, a
time.
life of crime. I can't read. Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Tracy. Um, let's see. Do recent events in your life end up in your book? I know they do because I've listened to your previous interviews, so I'm like, okay, tell me more.
Yeah, they do. I go to the series is set in New Orleans and excuse me, I go to New Orleans a lot. And it's just one of those places where funny things kind of happen or wild things. I mean, it's the home of Mardi Gras and many other really fun festivals and events, not just festivals. But anyway, the point being, yeah, I have lots of like really hilarious encounters there, lots of fun experiences. And so I definitely include those in the book. Um, it could be anything, from like a hilarious conversation with someone on the street or a crazy outfit I see somebody wearing walking down Bourbon Street, or oh my gosh, a wig, that I see at Fifi Mahoney's. Like there's just I never know what I'm going to put in a book. And some of it too is loosely based on my own family. Frankie is Sicilian American. I am not. My father's family came from right outside of Venice, Italy, and then his mother was more towards the center of Italy. Um, but in Texas, where I live, and you probably guessed that because I am a Longhorns fan, it's all like Sicilian Italians who immigrated here. So I'm sort of an oddity and very obsessed with that culture. And there are also tons and tons of Sicilians and Sicilian history in New Orleans that nobody really knows about.
What is the difference between the different regions? What is the one thing that makes them different?
Basically, historically, it's the ancient peoples who settled them. So everybody's heard of ancient Rome.
Hmm.
Hilariously, we've been also talking about like ancient Rome. I don't know if you've seen the TikTok thing where apparently there are men who think about ancient Rome every day, sometimes 3 times a day. You need to look this up, you guys. This is really, really funny. So this somebody a woman recently discovered, when she asked her like boyfriend or husband, like, gosh, I read this thing about ancient Rome being very popular with men, how often do you think about it? And he replied very seriously, about 3 times a day. So yeah, So the reason I mentioned ancient Rome isn't just because of that, but those peoples, that tribe, I think they were called the Ladini with a D, not a T. They spoke Latin with a T, and they actually, rose to prominence and basically rolled over everybody else in Italy. And that was sort of the beginning of Italy starting to become somewhat cohesive. But yeah, the difference is that whoever was in that region initially, their influence is still very much of how Italy evolved today. So Sicily is very, very different from Venice, from Florence, right? They're all very different from one another. And the languages, it can be very different. So everybody knows bambino in Italian, but in Sicilian, it's piccilidu is baby. So no similarity at all.
Hmm.
Like, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fun culture. Like if you look in the United States, like people like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, like they're all sort of Sicilian American. So the ones that people have heard of, the sort of famous Italian Americans, tend to be Sicilian American, which is something Sicilians are very proud of. And it just so happens they all sort of, most of them came en masse to the south of the United States. So that's why I'm an oddity. Also, I think I'm weird because I might be the only cozy mystery author that really likes football. So there's also that.
I wouldn't say that that's odd. I'd say that's more unique. What's the hardest scene for you to write in your books?
Oh gosh, any kind of romance. Like I just can't. I don't know if it's my Catholic upbringing. I don't know if it's because my mother reads the books. I just can't. Like I can't.
Oh,
So, I mean, they're comedy mystery, but Frankie has a boyfriend who became a fiance. And so periodically I'm like, God, like, what should I do with them? And no, there's no real romance in my book. There's sort of like nods to it or whatever, which is very convenient for me because I think a few times I've written them kissing and I'm just mortified even doing that. Like just mortified, literally, just cringing at my computer, deleting it. Like I just oh no. I do not know how people write romance books. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
no, it's so funny you said that. I wish I can write a romantic book, like a romance, because that's where all the big bucks are. I keep telling people that,
Yeah.
and so I have a lot of readers tell me, I really would wish you could have my main character is Raina's son and her husband is Matthew. They're always telling me, I wish you could have Raina and Matthew solve a mystery together. And I'm like, yeah, but then that means they would probably have to hold hands, and then they would have to kiss,
Yeah.
like do whatever married
Yeah.
couples do, right? After they're spending most of their day together. I'm like, have that. So every time a mystery comes up, he conveniently has to leave.
Yeah, I'm always thinking of like, how do I get his name? Frankie's now fiance is Bradley, and I'm like, what do I do with Bradley? How do I get rid of Bradley? But he's often kind of lurking around, and then sometimes I get to the end of the book and I think, oh man, I really didn't have him in the book enough. And then I just am kind of filled with dread sometimes too when I think, oh God, Bradley's in the next chapter. He's got to be. Like, there's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Because I made a lot of people are actually waiting for this. They think this is hilarious, but in a way, I think this is a mistake that I made by sort of setting it up where my character is going to get married in the series, which I did not intentionally do that. I think people think I did. And so another thing I've been doing is like dragging out the books because I'm like, oh, I don't want to write the wedding. And sometimes I get emails from readers who are like, they have these notions of big Italian Catholic weddings and all the sorts of hilarity that can happen. And they're like, oh, I can't wait for that wedding. I just can't wait for that wedding. And I'm like, ugh, like I keep putting it off.
No, I can't wait. It'll be hilarious. It'll be a lot of fun.
So, okay, so I'm writing a book now. It was actually a short story, part of a promotion that Tanya Kappas originally organized called Twisty Tales and Cozy Crimes. And I wrote a short story for it called Nocino Noir that I had never intended to turn into a book. And then I went to New Orleans fairly recently and had a crazy experience at the Columns Hotel, which is rumored to be haunted. And, you know, full disclosure, I don't believe in ghosts, but some really weird stuff was happening at this hotel that made me go, geez, am I wrong? Like, is this possible? I'm sort of more like, I need to see it to believe it. And I've never seen a ghost. So I just cannot believe that. But, and there was something about the hotel. You can look up pictures of it online. It's very famous. Again, it's called the Columns because of the ornate columns on the front porch. It's a historic mansion that was turned into a hotel. And there's something about it that made me just realize I could turn Nocino Noir into a book that has a lot of fun, hilarious stuff going on at the Column. So that is the next book. I think there's going to be like a bridal shower, but no wedding. The wedding is the very next book after Nocino Noir. So anybody who's waiting, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm writing one more book and then I'll do and then I'll do the dang wedding, which is going to have to be a doozy, like after all of the and I do have some very, very fun ideas for it, by the way. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, like the stress level is high, so things happen. In my series, I've actually had one wedding, which is a cousin, and then her eventually getting a wedding, but she went to Vegas and did the Vegas wedding. So I thought
That's
that was really fun. I would, and then I wish I could do more weddings. I just love wedding scenes.
you can't, I mean, you can't go wrong with a Vegas wedding. Like you can't. There's so much possibility for comedy in that. And I think the same is true, honestly, of an Italian American wedding, which might be a stereotype. I'm not saying Italian American weddings can't be normal and beautiful and elegant. They can and are, but there are often, at least in my family, some dynamics going on that just lend themselves to comedy. True story. I will, oh God, my parents can never see this. There was a family event in Toronto. I was originally born in Canada, by the way. A lot of Italians immigrated through Canada, but my mom is American, so that's how I ended up here. But there was a family, I think it was a birthday. It's been so long ago. There was a birthday for my aunt, my dad's sister, and my cousin whispered something in the ear of my aunt's friend. And the next thing I know, on this dance floor of this ballroom in a Toronto Italian restaurant, I see like a punch thrown and then another. Yeah, fighting. It turned into like a scuffle with some people trying to separate each other and others just fighting, just like we were just just like street fighters. I don't know. So I'm stunned, and I have brought my then boyfriend, now husband, to meet the family like in Toronto in Canada. And this is happening. And I stand there frozen. And I remember looking back, and there was an accordion. They had hired an accordion player. What a stereotype. So this man, though, was still during the fight just playing the accordion and smiling like the brawl wasn't even happening, or he was happy that it was happening and thought it was a very fun family event. So yeah. So there are often some dynamics that can happen in these family gatherings that would lend themselves to a very funny Frankie Amato wedding. So count on it, you guys. I've seen it in
Yeah.
real life. It's going to happen in the book.
Oh, okay. You got to get that accordion player back in the book in the
I
wedding.
know. I know.
That big
I don't know what I just remember still hearing the music and thinking, what in the world? And I look back and he was just smiling. It's just so big. He was so happy. I don't know. And yeah, my husband still married me even after witnessing that.
Well, maybe he thought, well, maybe now he's normal. compared to the rest of the family.
I,
That's fine.
yeah, I mean, it did make me look really good by comparison.
Mm.
Yeah,
Do you have
family.
any other like creative hobbies outside of writing?
Do I have any creative hobbies? I have so many dang dogs that I don't really have I don't really have time. I like to read, clearly. I don't have a lot of time for it. I no, I think, when I have free time, I'm either writing a book, honestly, in my free time, or I am traveling to research a book. Have interests. I mean, everybody knows that I have like an obsession with Fifi Mahoney's wigs. And in fact, since this is October, I was thinking I could debut one.
Show us.
It's like, okay, you guys, I need to prepare you a little bit for this first. Not to drag it out, but remember, those of you who've never, well, if you've never seen an interview with me, when I went to New Orleans, I am not a wig person. I don't wear wigs. It was never something I really thought about. But I went to New Orleans and I discovered there's this whole wig culture there where people just walking around the city, not just for Mardi Gras even, but for any kind of event, might wear a really funny wig. There's also a lot of like charitable organizations that support Mardi Gras, like the Mary Antoinettes, who have huge Marie Antoinette wigs. There's just lots of opportunity for New Orleans, for wigs in New Orleans. Anyway, so I I was there a while back with some friends of mine, and we always walk into Fifi Mahoney's because if you have not scrolled through their Instagram feed, I strongly suggest you do it. You will see wigs that you could never imagine existing in your life. So there was a creepy like Halloween wig, and they have some doozies, but this one had it had a it had a cemetery with tombstones on top. And I was like, and I said this to the person working there, and I was like, New Orleans has all those mausoleums. Like, I don't, the above ground, I don't know why you did the tombstones. And they were like, well, we could make you one. And I was like, I don't need a Halloween wig. But then my friends were like, come on, Traci. So here she is. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see. Okay, so I'm going to start with the face, but see how it's like creepy gray. Do you
Huh?
see the mausoleum on top?
Yes, yes. And then there's
It's
a
kind of got
person in
like
front of it and a
it's
lot.
got kind of like a stained glass, and there's this creepy tree. And they have also added like black and gray silk flowers because
Hours.
they said we've got to make it look a little feminine. And I was like, do you, when it has a mausoleum? Oh, and the Grim Reaper. Can you see the Grim Reaper?
Yes, yes. I thought that was like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it could be like the ghost of somebody, but I think he's actually supposed to be the Grim Reaper. And then do you see right here? So there is moss and like dirt and a bunch of tombstones. Can you see the
Yes, yes,
creepy?
like a graveyard. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they kind of have it all, but yes, people would wear this on their head in New Orleans as though this were completely normal and natural. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with it, except maybe show it to you guys. But I have thought about like, what if I put on a black dress and this wig, and when kids came trick or treating, just opened the door
Uh-huh.
with a big gray wig with a cemetery on, like that? I would run screaming
Oh.
once my eyes sort of focused on it and figured out what the heck it was. But yeah, it probably doesn't come across well on the screen, but it is very vivid in when you're here with it, and quite shocking.
Is
But
it
yes,
heavy? Is it heavy when you put it on your head?
no, they're not. So they're very careful about that. So I have one that is a Christmas tree. It's a Mardi Gras Christmas tree. It's green and it's got like oh my gosh, Mardi Gras like beads and doubloons, and in the green. It's a green wig, and then it has the purple, green, and gold colors of Mardi Gras like decorations on it. And on the very tip top, there's a Mardi Gras mask. I have a spaghetti Western wig. She's got like it almost looks like a decoration, like, you know, a big flower or something, but it's a plate of spaghetti on the side of her head, two crossed guns here, and then over here there's like a red and white checkered tablecloth like napkin with like a fork, a knife, and a spoon on it, like, right, just hilarious. It looks very like kind of Tammy Wynette sort of country. And then I'm forgetting one. Oh, I have, yeah, a voodoo saloon girl. She's got like a voodoo potion bottle and a voodoo doll and a big black feather, and it's purple, and she's got like, you know, the saloon kind of curl. So yeah, I have all these things. And I don't really wear wigs. So
I'm just like sitting here thinking, man, it's just too bad you don't write some kind of ghostly paranormal type of mystery, because I mean you wear those wigs and you're like really in
oh,
character.
I know. Yeah, I don't think I could pull it off. I think the paranormal cozy world is so well developed that I would be an obvious imposter. Just maybe as bad as if I tried to write a romance where I could never have the people even in the same room. Like
That is,
I
yeah.
don't, yeah, I don't know. But I do love a good haunted house, which is how this wig kind of came to be. Um, and I have done, like, in my second book, there's like a haunted, there's a famous plantation home outside of New Orleans that just has a lot of ghostly legends. And so I used that. And then I think I had something haunted before, but yeah, I'm doing it again in No Chino Noir, but there are like ghost legends associated with the Columns Hotel, and I have to use them. They're perfect because one of the ghosts is there's a third floor ballroom in this old mansion, and it's very, very teeny tiny, like in an old house, kind of tiny, but one of the ghosts is rumored to be, they call her the woman in white, and so a woman allegedly floats across the ballroom floor wearing a white dress. Well, since Frankie's getting married soon, I was like, okay, this is good, this is appropriate. And there's a wedding that happened at the hotel in the book. So so yeah, I do include haunted elements. I just don't think I could create a very good paranormal world, not when there are so many pros already doing it and they have done it so well, you know? But yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
never say
Like with
never.
my current book now, I'm kind of getting into it a little bit because in the Cedar Woods series, dog is the aunt believes that the dog is the reincarnated spirit of her husband. And she puts this little like green beret on his hat and he just prances around her,
That's good.
and
Yeah.
so he doesn't exhibit your typical corgi behavior. And so she tells everybody, "This is my husband," you know. And so my sleuth is like, "For real?" And then there are a few scenes where she asks him questions like, "Spark one for yes, spark no for two," and he gets it dead on every
And
time,
he
right?
does it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I ended that book with her going, "Well, is it really true or not?" And so it's gonna probably go more into it. And I still quite haven't figured it out yet, but it will have a little bit more of a spooky element. Just
Yeah,
because
no, go with it. I
yeah,
run with it because it's not like the focus of your series. If I think what I'm talking about is if all of the sudden I say, okay, you know, I'm now going to write this whole paranormal series. Like, I'm not sure I could carry it, but even in the book that I give away this month, I don't remember in, yeah, Campari Crimson. I don't think that I put anything terribly haunted, but there's a lot of spooky stuff in it, and you know, that, I mean, that is something I can do. I can do spooky and comedy and scary, and I think we all, you know, I think we all can. But yeah, carrying a whole paranormal world is it's a big burden for somebody
that's
like me.
yeah. And then we're writing cozy mysteries. I mean, spooky is not scary.
Yeah. 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 So no. Yeah. I don't think it's for me. I do think about after Frankie, or maybe in conjunction with Frankie, and I've talked about this forever, so I'm sure anybody listening who has heard me go on about this is about to roll their eyes, but I do have an idea for a series set in Italy, and I'm asked to do that a lot. And it would be sort of like a food themed, I guess like a cozy culinary. So that's more likely to be the direction that I go next. I just have to find the time.
Ooh, that would be great.
I think it would be a lot of fun. I really do. And it would be set in different cities. So, one would be Rome, one would be Florence, one would hit the highlights. And I know the cities well. I go there a lot. So, I could definitely write about them. I just, again, it's a time thing.
That's true. So many books to write, so little time.
No, if I just didn't have to sleep.
Hmm. Well, thanks, Tracy, for your time today.
Thank
So,
you.
it was a really fun interview, and I love seeing your wig. That was cute.
Oh, it's creepy. I'll let you know eventually what I do with it. I might just wear it this Halloween. Might have to. I don't know. We'll see if I put it on.
You have to. I mean, if you're gonna put in all the effort and buying it and everything, you should show it off.
Yeah. Oh gosh, scare some kids. That would be a great Halloween. I'm just kidding.
Well, it kind of depends. Like, if you don't do the makeup on your face, then it just looks like you're just an odd woman with something on your head.
Yeah, yeah. No, I could also just like open the door with candy and act completely natural wearing the creepy.
Exactly.
Like, hey.
Exactly. Then they'd be
Yes.
like, "What? What is that?"
I'll let you know. Happy
Okay.
Halloween, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.